Everybody, Detective Fungi here. We're back with another painting tutorial. I know it's been a while, but I've just been busy since like Thanksgiving, and I haven't been uploading much. But of course, we will begin with the painting tutorial. For this, I have one of my Eldar models. This is a Dire Avenger. For those of you that don't know, the Dire Avengers are basically a named squad, or and these are under the leadership of Phoenix Lord Azerman. But we don't have Azerman, but we're going to start painting one of Azerman's soldiers. So for this, we're going to start off with the blue armor. So it may seem weird to start off with the armor first, well, for this, because there is that little thing in the way right here. We will get that painted in just a minute, but for right now, let's start off with the blue. So let me make sure I grab the proper brush here. Here it is. Basically, all we're going to do is that we're going to start off with, and I primed this with white scar. We're going to start off with Azerman blue. Check out the paint like so. Now, Azerman, of course, is the Phoenix Lord, not the Dire Avengers, but Azerman blue is actually the same color as that the Dire Avengers have anyway, so yeah. Just shake up your paints. So what you do, take some Azerman blue on your brush, and I will actually use a well palette this time so nothing dries too quick. Trusty well palette, put it in the center. I'm going to use a smidge of water to thin this down just a little bit, just so, it flows nice and smoothly. Because contrast paints can develop some sort of thickness over time, so it's really good just to make sure that they're nice and smooth. Perfect. All right, a little more paint. So the key with contrast paints is to never overload your brush. You want to do a thick coat, but not really overload it. So what we're going to do, take a smaller brush, so that way we have nice control. Basically, we're going to go over the blue armor with Azerman blue. See right here, we're just going to go nice and smooth over the armor, so that way it can give the nice smooth blue finish, but it's not too splotchy. And if you have any excess, like these little streaks right here, just soak it up with your brush and just move it to somewhere else on the miniature. Take your time and just be careful with this, and you'll be done. Alright, with the blue armor now done, that is basically most of the majority of Dire Avenger done. So what we're going to do is going to paint the little, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the headdress is mostly called. I think it's a headdress, but we're going to paint that with the yellow that we see in Dire Avengers. So for this, we're going to use another contrast paint, Imperial Fist. So the differences between the other contrast paint I used before, Cyan and Yellow, is that Cyan and Yellow is more orangey and it has a little more shading, but Imperial Fist is more of a solid yellow, which is actually rather good for this. So what we're going to do, take some Imperial Fist, and I will get my weld palette back out. I just moved it out the way for the shot. So what we're going to do, take some Imperial Fist, put on the palette like so, and what we're going to do, we don't need much. All we're going to do is basically just going to base coat this little headdress with Imperial Fist. So if it comes a little thick like that, just wipe it off a little bit on the palette and then spread it a little bit. There you go. So as you can see, it has a nice bright yellow. And of course, if you want to paint your Dire Avengers with a different yellow, like say Iyanden yellow, Bad Moon's yellow, or Iron Jaw's yellow, feel free. I'm just showing off what yellow I prefer to use. I'm just making sure I get all the areas with the Imperial Fist paint. There we go, that's the yellow done. Alright, and now we're going to shade the white, which is going to be on the cloth, and the helmet. So for this, we're going to take one of the newer contrast paints, Pilar Glacier. Now, I've used Pilar Glacier in the past to make a snow base, like you can see that tutorial on my channel. But I also like using this for white, so that way instead of using a puthree white, which is a good way for shading white, it just gives a nice tint of blue, which gives it that little icy feel. So I am going to switch the brush because we don't want it to be too thin where it kind of splotches a little bit. So I'm basically going to use a little flat brush. So what we're going to do, take some Pilar Glacier. As you notice, the paint is really, really thin, which is really good for shading or for making ice weapons. So basically right here, we're going to take some Pilar Glacier and just apply it. Make sure to wipe off the excess and wipe it off. And basically, yeah, just go all over the white. If you can have as much or as little as Pilar Glacier as you want, but just be careful and just follow the same drills, just not too much on your brush, and just take your time. Soak up the excess a little bit. And for soaking up the excess, what you can do, there you go, grab a little more, basically, and you're also going to need to want to put this on the white cloth, which gives it a nice little tint. Okay, now with the white now shaded, now what we're going to do is simple. We're now going to start painting in all the black details, which is basically the mask and the helmet and the gun, and of course whatever you want to be black. So for this, we're going to use another contrast paint, Black Legion. So shake up the paint like so. A little hard for me to open. So what we're going to do is this. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of Black Legion from the pot like so, and then we're just going to put it on the side of the palette right here. Not too much on the brush. Basically what we're going to do is before we do the gun, I'm going to show you how to do it on the face. So for the face, or like where the helmet is, you're going to take a little bit of paint and just very, very gently go into only the little parts inside the helmet. If you get it on the white, don't worry. You can just get some Corax white and just fix it later. Let me make sure. I will fix this off camera, but And then for all the other black details, which we got right here, you can also paint this part black if you want, which will be this little thing right here. I don't know what it's called, but we're going to paint this black. Be sure to avoid the cloth, and of course you can just tidy up with Corax white later if you want, if you get any black on the white. And the last part of the black is going to be on the Avengers Shuriken Catapult, which is basically his gun and this little pipe right here. Paint the pipe a little bit with Black Legion, and then just be extremely careful, and just take your time. And then basically we're going to work on the other stuff at a time. So let's start off with the scope. Let's scope next. Okay, with the black now dry, we are now going to start focusing on the gold. For this, we're going to use Greedy Gold. So I will shake up the bottle like so. So I would normally use the Retributor armor from Citadel, but this is all I have for gold right now. And either way, I'm not debating on the quality of products. I'm just using what I have available. That's all. So take some Greedy Gold. We're going to take a little bit on our brush. We don't need much because you will need a couple thin coats, but the thing is that there's not much gold on this miniature as you think. So for the gold, basically it can be any of the areas. We're going to start off with this little symbol hanging off the Avengers Shuriken Catapult. And for right here, we're also going to paint the other side of it. There's some other gold bits of the miniature, and I don't really paint all the gold bits. Like I just mostly do it just to get stuff done, but for the video I will make it pretty. Other details, including on the gun. And I'm just making sure I cover all the details, nicely. And typically where you're going to find the gold is that there's also some gems right here on their chest, which is right here. Let me make sure I can find it. Yes. So for the gem, basically, on their chest, a dab of gold. Just try not to get any on the armor. There we go. And for right here, we're also going to paint the little pin right here that goes into the rifle, like right here, or the catapult. Reason being is because this actually has gold. This is actually gold, believe it or not. And if you need to, we will tidy that up later. I'm just painting the whole top part so I don't have to work with it later. And this part right here. And next for gold, there's also some seals on the back right here, and also this little thing I coated in black earlier. just be extremely careful with the gold, so that way you don't have to clean up and do it all over again later. Although you can just do that, it will be easy. But just try to be neat as you can. Alright, with the gold now done, we're now going to focus on painting the eye lenses. For this, I'm just going to use Baharoth blue. You can paint the eyes however you want, but I just want to paint them with blue as they are, the box art. So what we're going to do, take some Baharoth blue, you just need a smidge. Make sure there's very little on your brush as well, so that way. For right here, we're going to look very close at the lenses right here. See right here, we're just dabbing and dabbing and dabbing, and there we go. And then we just do the same for the other eye. Let me make sure I get the flat point on the. All right, that's the eye lenses done. And the last detail we're going to look at is the stripes on their headdress for the Dire Avengers. For this, you can use regular paint, black paint, or just I'm going to use a contrast paint. We're going to return to Black Legion. So what we're going to do, take some Black Legion, shake it up. You can put in as little or as many stripes as you want, but I prefer just keep the stripes around 4 to 6 if you want, because, you still want some yellow on this miniature. So what we're going to do is that for right here, we're basically going to start right here wherever you want. You can mark them at first, but we're basically going to start and just not very much paint on the brush. And you can have them as wide or as thin as you want, but keep them a little thin, not too wide, so that way you can see the yellow. And you do have to work all the way around the miniature, so just be extremely careful. Alright, and just going to continue all the way down the miniature, or the headdress. Alright, with the stripes now done, this actually concludes the Dire Avenger. So, what we're going to do is that, I know I said the gems earlier. This does include them, but there's also one more detail. For the gems, basically you can just paint the gems however you want. It's typically red for the Dire Avengers, but I'm just going to go with my own gem color. So for this, I'm going to find my other contrast paint. We're just going to use one of my favorite ones, Aledari Emerald. Take out the paint. We're going to take a little bit of Aledari Emerald. And the gem that we base coated earlier with gold, we're basically just going to put a little bit over it. Alright, there we go. That's the gem painted. And now, this actually concludes it. I know I said it concludes, but I almost forgot about that detail. So, as you can see, we started off with the armor, the helmet, the headdress, the black, and then, just kind of went on. So, basically, this concludes it. So, as you can see, we did make some mistakes, but we managed to fix them, and stuff like that. I also did only 4 stripes on the head. The reason being is because I wanted to keep some yellow and some black, so I recommend 4 to 5 stripes if you want to. But that is the Dire Avenger finished. It's good to be back. I know it's been a while, and hopefully I'll be uploading more videos in the future. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Happy painting. Bye-bye.